All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another Stock Market Outlook video powered by DeepView. That is my daily driver for everything charting, screening, watchlist management, the works. You can find out more in the link below. Today, as always, we're going to run through the market indexes, talk about the leading groups and rotation that's currently going on. There's a lot to talk about there, and also highlight some key stocks that I think are definitely worth keeping on your radar, as well as watching for potential entries. So as always, we're going to run through those indexes. But to start with today, I just want to make sure you guys are aware of a free resource that is coming up next week and the weekend after, and that is the TraderLine Conference. This is an annual conference that we hold every single year. It spans 2 weekends here, and we have a fantastic group of speakers, investing champions, top traders, market experts, trading psychology experts who will be presenting on many different topics related to improving your performance, talking about edges, talking about journaling, handling emotions, all of that. Almost every aspect of trading is going to be talked about and covered, and it's going to be a fantastic resource for many of you out there. So if you're serious about learning, this is something you want to watch, take notes, and really study. Just running through some of the speakers, notably, all of them are fantastic, but we have Stan Weinstein again. Mark Minervini will be presenting this year along with Mark Ritchie, as well as Brandon Hedgepath, doing kind of an open-ended discussion on all things, trading VCPs, business management. There's going to be a lot covered there, so definitely take a look at that. Ross Haber will be speaking, Oliver Kell, of course, Pradeep Bande, Marius Stamatudis, Leif Serede, a lot of familiar faces, but also, as always, we're trying to integrate new voices, new ideas, and making sure that we're bringing on new speakers to make sure you guys continue to find this valuable and an excellent learning resources. So we've got a lot of trading wizards in here, many people from the unknown market wizards. Jason Shapiro will be here, Pavel as well, Marston Parker, talking about systematic trading. So there's so much amazing material that's going to be covered. So just visit traderline.com 2024 trading conference. The link to that will be down below in the description. You can sign up for the free VIP pass, and this gives you access to additional notes, the slides of each presentation, and also the ability to ask questions directly to the presenters, and we'll incorporate that into the Q&A that will accompany all the presentations. So definitely check this out. Again, the link is down below in the description, and highly recommend signing up for the VIP pass. All right, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in with the market analysis. This week was definitely interesting. We've continued to be in the strong trend since the beginning of May here. For me, the 21 EMA, which is this dark black line, is kind of my guiding light, especially on the Qs. If we're above a rising 21 EMA, that's probably a pretty good, period for me to be involved. That's kind of how I, create my own market cycle for myself. If we're above a rising 21 EMA, I'm looking to increase long exposure, get positioned in the leadership. And when we break below that, that's when to really play defensive. And likely as we start, oscillating around that line, I'm getting more defensive and ideally exiting before the majority of a market correction appears. And I just refreshed. Unfortunately, let me load that back up. But that 21 EMA is so important. And we just remain to be in a trend above it, even a trend above the 10 EMA. But we were at points here getting short-term extended. You can use this clothesline here. We got extended here, here, and here. Again, we are approaching that line up here. And just when we get, too much space above the 10 EMA, you want to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more cautious, because bars like this are normal during an uptrend, but they can hurt you nonetheless if you're overly exposed at that point. You're putting on too much exposure right before them. So you just have to kind of be aware of those extensions, especially later on in a trend. And we definitely got a very firm sell bar here down to the 10 EMA on this Friday. We tried to rally up, not the best close, but there's some pretty good action under the hood here, and kind of the breadth metrics here in DeepView show that down here. Net new highs, new lows, popping up again after quite some time of not really being there and supporting the trend. And you can see the percentage of stocks above the 40 SMA on the NYSE also has upticked quite a bit over the past few sessions. So despite this action, this looks to me more like just reversing from an extended state and just kind of continuing the trend. And I like the breadth kind of coming in and bring up the QQQE. I've talked about this in my daily letters. This looks like it's just starting to potentially move out of this base that it set all the way back in March of 2024. So if this can really start trending and we are above a rising 10, 21, and 50 and breaking through these highs, if this can start participating, that's going to lead to a lot more opportunities, a lot more setups, and just that breadth expansion will help support everything. So it's not just isolated in a few stocks. So, things look pretty good. Also, of course, we've seen some rotation into IWM the past 2 sessions, MDY as well, popping above here. These have been, not performing as well as the mega caps for quite some time. So maybe this is just kind of a natural rotation into something that, hasn't been performing and underperforming, and there's an opportunity there. But we'll see if this trend, continues to hold strong and we start seeing, more and more relative strength in these areas. But at the moment in the past year and really 2023 as well, the mega caps have been where it's at, and you can see that in this very, very strong trend. So we'll see if we need some consolidation here, or if we just kind of resume the uptrend. You have to be ready either way, and just be ready to take advantage of the opportunities. Looking at the mega caps, obviously Tesla has been, back in favor since this base here. Nice tight areas in here where you can get positioned after noticing this strong relative strength push. Nice base, very tight action. This was like 5 weeks tight here. And if we actually go to my weekly chart here, you can see that we highlight the 5 weeks tight here with the orange bars. Well, 3 weeks tight, we highlight 3 weeks tight, but there's 2 in a row. Yep. So that's just really nice tightness here. And we exploded from that contraction and now are starting to see some consolidation signs. Maybe we base for a few weeks at this resistance level, and then we can resume upwards. But nevertheless, Tesla's been very strong, and this theme in general has been pretty strong as well. We'll take a look at Rivian in just a minute later on as well. But we did see some selling come in here, but a nice oops reversal on Friday. Looks like the start of a consolidation period for me. I'd love to see the 21 EMA kind of catch up to price. NVIDIA, I know everybody's watching this one. I'd love to see another base form here, a potential lower high, which is something to be aware of, but still above those moving averages. I'd love to see it consolidate for a few weeks, let that 50 SMA catch up to price. Apple, really nice trend, not much to say here. Amazon, or Meta, sorry, breaking lower here, not a great sign, back below the 21 EMA, and back within this base. Amazon, also similar selling here, but holding above that 21 EMA. Google, just trending, but pulling back to that 21 EMA, and Microsoft very similar as well. So I'd love to see kind of the mega caps take a little bit of a break, base out a bit, and kind of let everything else kind of hold things up and act well. And, this weekend, just looking around, there's a decent amount of setups here. So don't get too bearish just based on what the QQQ looks like or what the mega caps look like. Keep an open eye out and take a look and try to find those opportunities and identify where that rotation is going. And speaking of rotation, one thing that I really find useful to identify it are the performance charts here. And I've got a bunch of theme ETFs in here. And I've got, at the end of the week, I always use this price percent change over the past 5 days to basically see over the past 5 days what's been the strongest performers. And TNA is up there, ITB as well. And let's actually add the description here to the status line so you can see. Let's just do description there. So the home builders, definitely worth keeping an eye on. TAN as well. ArcG, there's been a lot of stuff in biotech that I've noticed personally. Carry, regional banking. Again, with the biotech here, iDrive with Rivian and Tesla is a no-brainer. IBB, again, with the biotech. So there's a really simple way to identify where the rotation is. It highlights the small caps right there. MSauce was kind of been beaten down here and just kind of mean reverting. The miners here. So you can kind of see where the rotation has been. And then on the flip side, you can see where it's been kind of coming out of. And Hack has been consolidating. USO, SLV, IGV. So this is kind of consolidating here, potentially forming a base. So this just kind of helps you keep an eye out and see what's working at the current moment. Another thing I like to use is the heat map here. And again, I kind of use this every single day and look for what's strongest since the open. I like to sort either by relative volume or different measures like ADR. And you can clearly see the hot spots, flip through them quickly. HUT's obviously a huge upside reversal action. MIRM just kind of trending. HUT again, IoT acting well at the right hand side, but Rivian and Tesla really standing out. So whenever there's kind of a group here, or an industry group here that's all blue or all red, that's just an easy way to help you spot rotation. Some machinery, taking a little bit of a hit here, and you could set this to the DeepView leaders. I like to do that, or just the S&P 500 and identify easily kind of where the strength is over there. And you can just see what's blue and what's not, and keep it as simple as that. Also, we just added the bubble charts in here. This is kind of similar. You can plot any 2 data points here on these axes and just kind of sort through and look for outliers. I like to use price percent change from the open app and relative volume on the open, so I can see what's breaking out that day. But there's just another feature that can be helpful in identifying rotation, which is a question I get asked quite some time. Getting back to the current markets, let's go ahead and run through some key stocks here. First, LNTH acting super powerful. This was kind of a regulatory change, I believe, some Medicare news that caused this huge move on volume, I believe. So it's not bigger than this, but nevertheless, huge volume, great fall through the next day, and then this day holding really, really tight. And I love this type of bar after a breakout bar. And we'll see if this can continue higher and form, the tight area to get involved, if not already. Rivian, definitely want to mention this. Pull back really nicely to this base pivot, and then just took off from here. You also had a potential spot here on the upside reversal and fall through up, at this level or at this upside reversal level. Those are kind of the key potential entry points that I see. JMIA, and let me open up a little bit more chart here. This is acting great. Again, just more of a secondary type name, but nice swing trading type name. You've got the pop through 21 EMA here, and then this nice action, nice fall through action. Tesla, already mentioned the downside reversal bar here. So this to me kind of looks like it needs a new base, but this is very, very strong here as well as here. So I'd be watching this pretty carefully and see if there's a spot that fits your style, whether you're a pullback buyer or buy on strength. Looking for tight areas, looking for pullback to moving averages, whatever your style is, keep an eye on this name and this theme in general. Moving on, PLTR I want to mention up near the top of this base here. A little bit of a consolidation the past 5 days, so this could be on watch for next week. Moving on, I want to cover SMCI. This just had some news, I believe, is added to the NASDAQ 100 and is forming a nice range here. So watch for a gap and go type move after it's broken this DTL. Definitely a name to have on your radar. Moving on, let's see which others I wanted to cover today. Amgen, I noticed this, acting well along with a lot of other biotech names. A nice outside day here and great follow through here. This is more of a slow mover, but if you like to play those high dollar value names, this is one to have on your radar. Reddit, this is forming a little bit of a handle here near the top of these previous highs. It kind of moved on Friday from this tight area, but is still potentially actionable and still below those highs. ELF, this was moving up the right hand side, forming out a handle here. A little bit of a fade on Friday, but one to keep in mind as well. And let's see, we talked about NVIDIA already. VST, this is consolidating nicely, really nice upside reversal, very tight as well. You can see that in RMB. So one to watch. This has been a super strong, powerful name that once it gets going, really likes to trend above that 10 EMA. So look for that. And see if this can push out of this consolidation. But overall, there's a decent amount of setups this week. Look for those tight areas. Look for stocks that are showing relative strength right now where we're seeing rotation back in them. And if you have any in particular that you think are worth mentioning, let us know down below in the comment section. Also, please let me know your thoughts on the market. Let me know, where you think we're going over the next week or so. And with that said, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and definitely check out the Trailline Conference, which will be streamed next week. This is my favorite event of the year. I've learned so much from all the speakers previous years, and hopefully you guys have as well if you've watched previously, and I know you will if you watched this year. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.